magnetic force. See, so two forces are acting on the conductor, one in the upwards direction, another in the downwards direction. This conductor can only be in equilibrium if both the forces balance each other. For equilibrium, magnetic force should be equal to the weight of the conductor. Because if two forces balance each other, that means net force on the conductor would be zero. Okay, how would you calculate this magnetic force, Amalia? How would you calculate this force FB? Yes, Amalia, how would you calculate this force FB? Amalia, you're not audible. I can't hear you. Anyone else? Shahzada, would you try? How would you calculate this magnetic force?
So this is a formula.
Which formula? Yes, Amalia. This will be ILB sine theta. Now we did in the last class, right? This relation ILB sine theta will be using. This is ILB sine. See how much is theta? Theta is 90 degree. Magnetic field is inwards and current is rightwards. Magnetic field is along Z axis and your current is along X axis. So angle is 90 degree. Mg mass is 2 kg. And G, how much is G? G is 9.8 meter per second square. So that's 9.8. Now substitute all values. How much is current? Current is 2 ampere. Put I is equal to 2 ampere. How much is L? L is 10 meter. How much is B? B is the value of magnetic field you are supposed to calculate. Sine 90 is 1. 2 into 9.8 is 19.6. So you can calculate B from here. Huh? It's 19.6 by 20. So it comes out to be 0.98 Tesla. This is the value of magnetic. 0.98. Huh? So that will be the value of magnetic. If the value of magnetic field is this, then the conductor will remain in equilibrium. It won't experience any force. The net force over the conductor would be 0. Yes, you can take G as 10, right, Abdullah, but this is more accurate. Even if you are taking G to be 10, then also it's right. But this is more accurate. Huh? Exact value is 9.8. Okay, so it's namaz time. Let's have a break of 7 minutes. We will continue. We'll continue after 7 minutes. Huh?
Okay, sir.
We will continue after 7 minutes. The break for namaz will continue after 7 minutes. Shall I continue? Abdullah, Ahmed?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that was about the force on a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. The next thing is, you can also calculate force between two parallel conductors. Like the next is force between two long parallel current carrying conductors. Parallel current carrying conductors. It's an important derivation. So for this derivation, you should know few concepts. Like first thing is, if you place a conductor in a magnetic field, then magnetic field will exert force on the conductor, and that is ILB sine theta. Remember, for this force ILB sine theta, magnetic field is necessary. It is magnetic field which is applying this force of ILB sine theta. If there is no magnetic field, there is no such force. This force is applied by the magnetic field only. So in this problem, you have two long conductors. Conductor number one, it's carrying some current I. You have one more conductor, and that's conductor number two. It's carrying some current I. This calculation is basically combination of various concepts. So let me just revise those concepts. The first concept is, in Biot-Savart's law, we have discussed magnetic field due to a long conductor. This is it. But if you have a long conductor, long infinite wire, then the magnetic field due to a long wire is mu naught I by 2 pi. That's the one thing. We'll be using this concept. That's the first concept. That magnetic field due to a long conductor is mu naught I over 2 pi. That's one thing. This concept we will use. If you have a conductor, then conductor will generate some magnetic field around itself, and that magnetic field is mu naught I by 2 pi. And how we calculate the direction of magnetic field? This also we have discussed, that we use right hand screw rule. Like we place our thumb in the direction of current, and the curvature of finger will give the direction of magnetic field. Magnetic field is inverse in this case. We'll use this concept along with this concept, the concept of force, that if you place a conductor in a magnetic field, then magnetic field will exert some force over the conductor, and that force is given by ILB sine theta. But remember, for this force, you should have magnetic field. Conductor will not experience this force in the absence of magnetic field. It will experience this force only if you have magnetic field. So you have two conductors, they are current I1 and I2. The separation between the conductor is D. So we have two long conductors. At a separation D. So we have two long conductors at a separation D. The long conductor, so there is no point in measuring the length of the conductor. The length of the conductor is infinite. It's a very, very long conductor. So we're not discussing the length of the conductor here. Okay, now you people will tell me. Mariam, what do you think? Is there any magnetic field here? We just have two conductors, Mariam. Is there any magnetic field here?
No, sir.
We don't have magnetic field, okay? Noor, what do you think? Is there any magnetic field here?
Which point?
In between the two conductors, in this whole region,
Yes, sir, there is.
whole region. Is there any magnetic field?
Yes, sir, there is.
What's the source of that magnetic field?
The current carrying conductor.
Current carrying conductor. So Mariam, these current carrying conductors will generate some magnetic field. Huh? There is some magnetic field which will be produced by these conductors. Huh? So you have two conductors, you will have two magnetic fields. So one more thing. Here magnetic field will be generated by both I1 as well as I2. Conductor one will also generate some magnetic field, and two will also generate some magnetic field. But conductor will experience force due to external magnetic field. Like conductor 1 will experience force due to magnetic field of 2. And 2 will experience force due to magnetic field of 1. There is no chance that conductor 1 can experience force due to its own magnetic field. Self-interaction doesn't happen in magnetic field. A conductor cannot experience force due to its own magnetic field. Whenever it experiences some force, it's due to some external magnetic field. It's due to the magnetic field of some other conductor. Now let's calculate the force on conductor 2. I'm interested in calculating force on conductor 2. So Amalia, which conductor will generate magnetic field? I want to calculate force on conductor 2. I need force on conductor 2, Amalia. So tell me, which conductor will generate magnetic field, conductor 1 or conductor 2? Amalia, you can use chat room. Good. If you're calculating field due to conductor, force on conductor 2, then conductor 1 will generate. So magnetic field 2 due to 1. So magnetic field due to conductor. At what point? A point on conductor. On a point on conductor. This is the magnet. Shahzada, do you remember the formula to calculate magnetic field due to a long conductor?
ILB sine
Shahzada, ILB sine theta is magnetic field or this is force?
that's force.
That's force. What I am asking here? I'm asking about force or magnetic field.
Magnet.
So what is the expression for magnetic field due to a long conductor?
So
Shahzada, you should do some self-study, huh? You should devote some time for your self-study. You're not revising anything. Ahmed, what is the expression for magnetic field due to a long conductor? Ahmed, expression for magnetic field due to a long conductor. Ahmed, I can't hear you. Just use chat room if your mic is not working. Ahmed, I can't hear you. Please use the chat room. Okay, Ahmed, I'm waiting. I need magnetic field due to a long conductor. Oh, very good. Due to a long conductor, magnetic field is this. It's mu naught I1 over 2 pi A, where A is the separation is 2. Okay, Abdullah, what's the direction of magnetic field? The magnetic field which is conductor 1 is generating here. What's the direction of magnetic field here? Inwards, outwards. What's the direction of magnetic field? Abdullah?
Yes, sir. One second, sir. Outwards.
Outwards. I'm getting tensed, huh? This is thumb. Put your thumb in the direction of current. Thumb is upwards. See the curvature of your finger. Over this point, the curvature of finger is going inwards. Yes, it's inwards. It's inwards. It's inwards here. Inwards here. So this is the direction of magnetic field B1. Okay, Abdullah? So B1 is inwards. It's inwards. Now, I'm considering a section of conductor 2 of length L. Section of conductor 2 of length L. I need force on this length L of conductor 2. I need force on length L of conductor 2 due to 1. We call this as F21. Which formula you will use to calculate F21, Abdullah? I need to calculate this F21. Which relation you will use to calculate F21?
ILB sine theta.
ILB sine. We'll be using this relation, huh? This one. ILB sine. So, Shahzada, I'm calculating force on conductor 2. So, which current I should use? I should use I1 or I should use I2? Shahzada, for calculating this force, should I use I1 or I2?
so I do.
I2, because we are calculating force on conductor 2. We use I2.
Yes.
L. For magnetic field, Shahzada, I should use magnetic field of conductor 1 or conductor 2?
So you're going on conductor 2 to conductor 2.
I'm calculating force on conductor 2, but
So
conductor,
you should go on conductor 1.
yeah, for conductor 1. Shazada, what's the angle between? See, this is the length of the conductor and magnetic field is inwards. This is the direction of current and magnetic field is inwards. What is the direction of angle between the current and magnetic field?
So 90 degree.
90 degree. Magnetic field is inwards and current is upwards. This is along Z axis, this is along Y axis. So definitely angle would be 90. So this is force on conductor 2 due to conductor 1. I2 LB1. Let's call this as equation number 2. I call this as equation number 1. We can substitute 1 and 2. So when you substitute equation number 1 and 2, you will get F21 is, it's I2, it's L. Instead of B1, I can write mu naught I1 by 2 pi D. So it's mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi D into L now. So this is force on conductor 2 due to conductor 1 now. Now I need the direction of force. So let's apply right hand thumb rule here. Apply right hand thumb rule. Take your right hand, place your finger in the direction of current which is upwards and curl it in inverse direction. And write the direction of force that you are getting. Do it now. Take your right hand, place your finger in the direction of current which is upwards and then curl them in inverse direction. Write the direction of force that you are getting. Ahmed, right. Yes, Ahmed, you're correct. So Ahmed got the right answer. What about the rest? Abdullah got the right answer. Mariam, Amalia, Shazada, you're making a mistake. Shazada, are you using your left hand or right hand?
So sorry, it's left.
Use right hand. Yes, Noor, it's the right answer. Mariam, Amalia, good. Good, Shazada. Nazira, just try. See, take your right hand, place your finger in the upwards direction, in the direction of current, and then curl it towards in the inverse direction. Your thumb will point to the left hand side. Are you getting left hand side direction? Nazira, left, good. So this is the direction of force on conductor 2 due to conductor 1. This is it. So the force is acting in left hand side direction, left. So conductor 1 is pulling conductor 2 to the left hand side direction. I need one more thing. This F21 is force on length L. Now I need force per unit length on conductor 2 due to 1. So Mariam, how do you calculate force per unit length? Here I get force on length L. How do you calculate force on unit length of the conductor? Mariam?
Divided by the total length.
Divided by the total length. Very good. So this force per unit length we represented by F21 small f. This is total force divided by length. This is force on length L. For force on unit length, you divide it by L. When you divide it by L, you will get mu naught I1 I2 over 2 pi D. So this is the force on unit length of conductor 2 due to conductor 1. So the advantage of having this relation, the force on unit length, is if you know force on 1 meter length, then you can easily calculate force on 5 meter length, just multiply it by 5. If I ask you to calculate force on 10 meter length, it's easy, just multiply it by 10, you will get force on 10 meter length. So this is a very important relation. It's force per unit length is mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi D. And the direction is leftwards. So that was force on conductor 2 due to conductor 1. Ahmed, what do you think? Should conductor 2 also apply force on conductor 1? This is the force on 2 due to 1. Yes, Ahmed. What do you think? Will conductor 2 will also apply force on 1? Ahmed. Ahmed, your mic is not working. I can hear. Better use your chat room. Or just try to log out and log in again. Maybe then it could work. See, yes, if conductor 1 is exerting some force on 2, then 2 will also exert some force on 1. Conductor 2 will definitely exert some force on conductor 1 now, and that will be F1. Similarly, force on conductor 1 due to 2 is F1. So this one is force on conductor 2 due to conductor 1, F21. And then we have force on conductor 1 due to conductor 2, that's F12. Nazira, can you relate these two forces? Force acting on 2 due to 1 and acting on 1 due to 2. Can you find a relation between F12 and F21? Yes, Nazira. If you can remember some Newton's law to relate these two forces, F12 and F21. No. Okay. Amalia, can you relate F12 and F21 somehow? Some Newton's law, some laws of Newton. Perfect, Noor. Yes, Amalia, can you think of some relation between F12 and F21? See, there is no point of doing physics if you're not thinking. It's not just about memorizing formula. Good, Ahmed.
So can you hear me now?
Yes, Ahmed. Now I can hear you. See, it's Newton's third law, right? Newton's third law says if two forces, if you have two bodies, both will exert equal and opposite forces on each other. Right, Mariam? So if conductor 1 is attracting conductor 2, it's pulling conductor 2 towards itself, then 2 will also pull conductor 1 towards itself, and it will be F12. Both the forces would be equal and opposite, so no need to calculate F12 now. We can simply write that F12 is nothing but minus of F21. Both the forces are equal and opposite. Right, Ahmed? Shahzada, is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
So this is how we can calculate force between two conductors. So see, if you look at the direction of the force, so Shahzada, what do you think? These two conductors are attracting each other or they are trying to repel each other? Yes, Shahzada.
Sir,
what do you say? They are?
trying to repel.
They are.
Because
If you have two bodies, both are pulling each other toward itself.
they are attracted. Yeah,
They are
sir.
attracting. These two conductors are attracting each other. So you can remember this result in this way. If you have two conductors and they are carrying current in same direction, then they will attract each other. But if they are carrying current in opposite directions, then they will repel each other. So you should remember this result. If conductors carries current in same direction, then they will definitely attract. If they carry current in opposite direction, then they will repel. So if you have two conductors and they are carrying current in same direction, then those two conductors will repel each other. Sorry, attract each other. If they carries current in opposite direction, then they will repel each other. And then they will repel each other with this force, mu naught I1 I2 by 2 by d. There's one more important definition that you can write using this expression, and that's the definition of 1 ampere. It's a very important question. Define 1 ampere. So let's see what this 1 ampere exactly means. 1 ampere means, like to define 1 ampere, we'll be using this expression. So see, this is the expression between two conductors. So if I take I1 equal to I2 is equal to 1 ampere, means you have two conductors, two long conductors, both carrying current of 1 ampere. And I place them at a separation of 1 meter. I place them at a separation of 1 meter. That means your D is 1 meter. Then they will exert some force over each other. And that force will be mu naught is 4 pi into 10 raised to the power minus 7. I1 is 1, I2 is 1 over 2 pi into 1. It gets cancelled out. You will get 2. You will get force per unit length as 2 into 10 raised to the power minus 7 Newton per meter. So this is how we define 1 ampere. Like we write 1 ampere is that current which, when flowing through two long conductors, separated by 1 meter, cause them to attract or repel each other by a force of 2 into 10 raised to the power minus 7 per unit length. So this is the definition of 1 ampere. Means if you have two conductors carrying current of 1 ampere each, then they will attract or repel each other with a force of 2 into 10 raised to minus 7 Newton per meter. It's a very common subjective questions of NCERT that define 1 ampere. So you will define 1 ampere from this expression. It's very, very important. In last 10 years, you will find this question at least 2 to 3 times in your exam. Note it down and tell me if you have any issue. So when will your school reopen?
Say if online, then from 1st September.
1st September. Shahzada, any doubt in this calculation? So we'll do two numericals on this concept. The first one is straight formula based thing. The second is a question from NCRT. So we have two conductors. One is carrying a current of 2 ampere. This is formula based. Just to make sure that you know how to use this formula. And they are placed at a separation of 2 meters. This is 1, this is 2. So calculate first part. Force per unit length on conductor 2 due to 1. Next, force on 2 meter length of conductor 2 do it. Do it and write your answer in chat room. I need answers with proper unit vectors, okay? Use I cap, J cap, K cap unit vectors for direction. Don't just write magnitude. I need your number with proper unit vector. That's important. It's a formula based thing. It won't, if someone don't know the value of mu naught is 4 pi into 10 raised to the power minus 7. This is the value of mu naught. Answers? Send your answer to host, faculty. Okay, I got answer from Noor. Okay, Noor. We will check. You're calculating force on this conductor, huh?
Sir,
Yes, Abdullah.
so what is the unit of the force?
Newton per, in the first part, you're not calculating force, you're calculating force per unit length. So that's Newton per meter. In the second part, you're calculating force, so it would be Newton.
Oh, okay, sir.
Till now, I got just answer from Noor. What about the rest? Ahmed, Mariam? Okay, good, Amalia. Okay, Abdullah. Okay, Ahmed. Mariam, Shahzada, and Nazira. I'm waiting for your answers. Shahzada, are you doing it?
Yes, sir.
Mariam,
Yes, sir.
solving it, huh? Nazira, are you trying? Nazira, it's just a formula based thing, huh? This is the formula that you're supposed to use, this one. Mu naught, I have written the value of mu naught. Just put these values in that formula. Okay, Ahmed. Shahzada, it's not that lengthy. How much time you need for this particular numerical? Okay, good. Good, Nazira. Now let's see. I need force on conductor 2 due to 1. I need force per unit length. The formula is mu naught I1 I2 over 2 pi d. Now let's substitute the values. Mu naught is 4 pi into 10 raised power minus 7. I1 is, how much is I1 is 2, I2 is 10. It's 2 into 10 over 2 pi into d. How much is d? D.
I2 is 1, right?
Sorry, Ahmed.
I2 is 1, right?
I2 is 1. No, it's 10.
Yeah. Okay.
10 ampere. So
So
now
it
you have,
would be 20.
yes, it will be 20 into 10 raised power minus 7.
Yeah.
It's 20 into 10 raised to the power minus 7 Newton per meter. And it's, or you can write this as 2 into 10 raised to the power minus 6. Nah? You can even write this as 2 into 10 raised to the power minus 6 Newton per meter. That's it. If you look at the direction, then the direction is, we have already discussed in the previous question. This conductor will attract this conductor. Both will attract each other if current is in same direction. If they attract each other, then this should be the direction of forces. So that's F21. It's along negative x-axis using a unit vector minus I cap. So you can write this as F21 is minus 2 into 10 raised to the power minus 6 I cap Newton per coulomb. sorry, not coulomb, per meter. So Amalia, yeah, first part was correct. Nazira, you were taking it as 1 or 10? Okay, then you are correct. Shehzada, you were taking it as 1 is correct. Ahmed is correct. Abdullah. Okay, Ahmed is correct. Abdullah is correct. Noor is also correct. Now let's check the second part. So this is force on 1 meter length. In the second part, you need force on 2 meter length. So that's capital F21 will be small f21 multiplied by the length of the conductor. That's it. This is the force on the unit length of the conductor. When you need force on 2 meter length of the conductor, just simply multiply it with 2. So you'll get F21 is small f21 is this minus 2 into 10 raised to the power minus 6 I cap multiplied by L, which is 2. So this is answer that you get. It's minus 4 into 10 raised to the power minus 6 I cap. Ahmed, it won't be Newton per meter now. It will be Newton now. Earlier that was force per unit length. That's why I'm writing as Newton per meter, but now it's the total force. It will be Newton. So that was a simple problem based on force between two parallel current carrying conductors. Note it down. Then we'll solve one more problem based on that's given in NCERT on the same concept. So let me find that question. Just note it down.
Yes, sir.
Just 1 second. Let me find the question. Okay. This question is next chapter. The question is this. Sorry, this question is given in NCERT in chapter number 6. But in previous years, you may find this question based on this concept. So this is a straight wire and a rectangle. Straight wire and rectangle. This rectangle is carrying some current, let's say I1. And this is carrying some current I2. You're supposed to calculate the force on the rectangular coil due to I2. Let's call this separation as D. This is the length L. Calculate force on conductor on the coil due to long conductor. So for these type of questions, we will calculate force on, you can divide this rectangular coil into 4 straight conductors. Conductor AB, conductor BC, conductor CD. So you have 4 conductors AB, BC, CD and DA. We will calculate force on each of the individual conductors. For these type of problems, see, you can see BC is not parallel to current carrying conductor. BC is perpendicular. Don't worry about BC because force of BC and force of AD will always cancel out each other. Although it's a derivation in itself, how to calculate force on a conductor placed perpendicular, but don't worry about BC and DA. Whatever the force they will experience will be equal and opposite. So if BC is experience some force in the upwards direction, DA will experience same force in the downwards direction, the force gets cancelled out. So don't worry about BC and DA. Don't worry about the fact how to calculate force upon between two perpendicular conductors. No one will ask you the perpendicular conductors. Just have to worry about this AB and CD.
AB and CD will not cancel each other. Like they are also equal.
Ah,
right?
Yeah,
In
but they are at different separations. BC and AD were at same separations, but BC and CD are at AB and CD are at different separations. Huh?
okay, sir.
This is D and this separation is D plus L. So both are at different separations, so they won't cancel each other. So now you're supposed to calculate net force over the coil. Net force on coil. So for the net force on coil, what we can do is we can simply add the force due to each of the straight conductor. We can calculate force on AB, then we can calculate force on BC, then CD and DA. So we'll first calculate force on conductor AB. Then we will calculate force on conductor BC. Then we will do it for CD. And then we will do it for DA. BC and DA will cancel each other. They are equal and opposite. So don't worry about BC and DA. FBC is minus of FDA. Don't worry about them. They will just cancel each other. So you are left with only just FAB and FCD. Not FCD, sorry. Yes, FCD. I call this as equation number 1. Now let's try to calculate FAB. So what is FAB? FAB is force on this conductor due to this conductor. It's carrying current I1, it's carrying current I2. Ahmed, will you try force on this conductor due to this? The separation is D only. Yes, Ahmed, force on AB due to the long conductor.
Mu naught I into 2 by D
Mu naught I.
into 2 divided by 2 pi D.
You're calculating force or magnetic field?
You want force, okay? It will be
I1, I2.
ILB sin 9.
This formula, force between two parallel conductors. You
Yes,
have
yes.
two parallel conductors. One is here, another is
Mu
here.
naught I1 I2 by
2 pi D.
2 pi D.
Now, Ahmed, this force is on the whole AB conductor or just unit length?
And just unit length.
What's the length of AB conductor? Check from the diagram.
B.
B. So what you will do? Multiply it with B, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, this conductor 1 and this AB, they will attract each other or repel each other, this one and this one.
They will attract
Why?
because they both are in same direction.
Very good. So can you guess the direction of force on AB? It would be to the right or to the left?
It will be to the left.
If they are attracting each other, then move towards each other. Is it clear, everyone? Mariam, Amalia? See, we are calculating force on AB. So you can consider this long conductor and AB as two parallel conductors. Force on the unit length is mu naught I1, I2 by 2 by D. For force on the total length B, I multiplied it B. For the direction of force, what I can do is current is in same direction. So they will attract each other. When they attract each other, it will move towards this conductor. So that's the direction of force. Mariam, Amalia, Shazada, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now you have FAB. Mariam, which unit vector you will use here for FAB? You will use I cap, minus I cap, J cap, minus J cap, K, minus K. Which unit vector you will use to represent FAB? Mariam, minus I cap. Very good. Now we need force on this thing, this CD conductor. Yes, Mariam, can you tell me the expression of force on conductor CD? If you understood this point, then it should be very straightforward. Yes, what's the formula for force on CD due to this long conductor? Mariam,
Yes.
formula. How do you calculate force on CD? See this CD, Mariam, this CD
Yes.
and this long conductor are two parallel conductors only. Use
Yes,
this
sir.
relation. Use this relation. Tell me, what's the force? Mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi. Mariam, what's the separation between this long conductor and CD? Is it L? Is it D or something else?
D plus L.
D plus L. So instead of D, we'll be using D plus L. And multiply it with B because this is force on unit length, this is force on length B. Can you guess the direction of force, Mariam? This conductor 2 and this CD, they will attract or repel each other? Mariam, this long conductor
Yes.
and CD will attract or will repel?
They will attract.
Check the direction of current. Is it same or opposite?
It's opposite.
So when the current is opposite, then what happens? The
They will
conductors,
repel.
they will repel. So can you guess the direction of force? It's to the right or to the left?
To the right.
To the right, yes. When they repel, then the direction is move away, na? The direction of force is to the right. So right means I gap. That's it. Just put these values here. 2 and 3 in 1. When you put 2 and 3 in 1, you will get force F is FAB, which is mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi D into B into minus I cap plus mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi D plus L into B into I cap. That's the net force. This question is in NCERT in chapter number 6. You'll find this in chapter number 6. Note it down and tell me if you still have any issue. Shahzada, Ahmad, Noor,
Yes.
any issue?
So net force is in which direction?
Net force is in this direction only because its magnitude is greater.
Okay, sir.
Because for FAB the separation is lesser, so force will be strong. You can conclude from here 2 by D and 2 by D plus L. Here denominator is greater, so the force is weak. So that was last question on this concept. Now we'll start current carrying. And we will relate this current carrying loop to galvanometer, ammeter, and voltmeter. This is the last section of chapter number 4. Current carrying loop and magnetic diagram. Sure, yeah. Can I scroll it down?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Noted?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that was about force between two parallel current carrying conductors. The type of question that you get on this concept is, the first type of question is the derivation. You can get the simple derivation. 1 marker question is 1 ampere, definition of 1 ampere. The next question, that is straightforward question, force between, you will be given two parallel conductors and you're supposed to calculate the force. That's a formula based thing. If something tough comes from this topic, then this is this type of question. For these types of questions, not at all worry about these conductors which are perpendicular. They will always cancel out each other. Just worry about these parallel things. Okay, after this, let's move on to last topic, which is current carrying coil as a magnetic type. Current carrying coil as magnetic type. Next is current carrying coil as a magnetic type. Let's say you have a coil. When I say coil, means closed circuit. It's not necessary that coil should always be a circle. It could be a rectangle, it could be square, it could be triangle, but it should be something a closed. So if you have a current carrying coil, then this current carrying coil will act as a dipole. When I say dipole, means it will have both north pole as well as south. In electricity, when we say dipole, we say a system having positive and negative charges. In magnetism, when we say dipole, that is a system having north pole and south pole. Shahzada, does monopole exist in magnetism? When I say monopole, means a system having only north pole or only south pole. Yes, Shahzada, what do you think? Does monopoles exist in magnetism? Shahzada,
Yeah.
your voice is not very clear. Yes or no? What are you saying?
Both are there, right? North also, south also.
Now, in monopoles means only north and only south.
So no, then.
No, in magnetism, monopoles does not exist. You will never find a source of magnetic which have either north pole or south pole. Whenever you have a source of magnetic field, that is a dipole. A source of magnetic field should be a dipole. It should have north pole as well as south pole. So in the previous discussions, like we have calculated magnetic field due to various sources. Like we have calculated field due to this type of coil. This coil is a source of magnetic field, Abdullah. So what do you think? Could it be a monopole or it should be a dipole always?
Dipole.
It's a dipole. Whatever source of magnetic field you have, that should be a dipole. It could be a circular coil, it could be a semicircular coil, it could be a system of this type. Even this system will have north pole and south. Any source we have solved using Ampere's circuital law also. If I'm saying that this cylinder is a source of magnetic field, if it is generating some magnetic field, then it has to be a dipole. It will have a north pole and a south. So this current carrying coil behave as a magnetic dipole. I should write this in the next page. Magnetic dipole. So current carrying coil.
Sir?
Yes.
So can you show that previous numerical answer? I just want to check the sign.
Yes. I'm coming. In nature, magnetic monopoles does not exist. At the time of Big Bang, there were few monopoles, but now we don't have monopoles universe. We have dipoles only, north pole as well as south.
Sir, minus will come, right?
Minus will come. Why, Abdullah? Why here?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Both are in opposite directions.
Yeah, but I'm
FA
but I'm using minus I cap here, so they will
Oh,
eventually get subtracted. So whatever source of magnetic field you have, it has to be a dipole, whether it could be a bar magnet or a solenoid or any system. It's a dipole. It have north as well as south pole. In this topic or in the following topics, we will consider current carrying coil as a dipole. And you will see the results will match with that of electric dipole. We did dipole movement of an electric dipole P. We did torque on a dipole in electric field. Similar topics will come here. So the first thing is here is, if you have a coil, a current carrying coil, then that current carrying coil will act as a dipole. Now, if it is acting as a dipole, then it will have a north pole and then it should have a north pole and a south pole. So to decide where is the north pole of the coil and where is the south pole of the coil, what we will do is, this is the coil. If the current is going clockwise, you take a coil, just look at the coil. If you see that current at the top face is clockwise, then the top face will behave as south. Take another coil. Let's say current is going anti-clockwise. You look at a coil and you find that with respect to you, the current is anti-clockwise. Then it will behave as the north. So single coil, okay. So if the current is clockwise, then it will behave, the top face will behave at the south pole. If the current is anti-clockwise, then the face will behave as the north pole. Like if you take a paper, you draw a coil over that paper, some clockwise direction. When you look at that paper from your end, the current is clockwise. But if you look at from another end, then it will appear as anti-clockwise. Means if I'm placing this coil in this way, and if I say it's clockwise from your end, if you look at the clockwise thing from my end, it will be anti-clockwise. Clockwise, if I'm saying this is clockwise from your end, then with respect to another observer, it will be anti-clockwise. How I'm rotating these fingers, it's clockwise or anti-clockwise with respect to you?
Anti-clockwise.
Anti-clockwise.
For you, it's anti-clockwise, but for me, it's clockwise. This clockwise and anti-clockwise depends upon the observer. So, okay. So if you have a coil and you say the current is clockwise from your end, then from my end, it would be anti-clockwise. So if you say that the coil has south pole from your end, then from my end, the coil have north. So it have both the poles, south pole as well as north. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
If the current is clockwise, it behaves as a south pole. If the current is anti-clockwise, behaves as a north pole. In a single coil, we have both the poles. With respect to one side, if it is south, then from another side, it's north. It have both south as well as north. The next thing is, so now you know that a current carrying coil is a dipole, it have both north pole as and south pole. Now we'll ask you to calculate dipole moment of this coil. It will ask you to calculate the dipole moment of coil. Magnetic dipole moment of the coil. Does anyone remember the formula to calculate electric dipole moment? You all have done electric dipole moment with me.
Charge into length
E
of
by
the
4 pi
dipole.
epsilon naught 0.
Ah, it's Q into 2A.
That's what he said.
Electric dipole was Q into 2A.
He said I was that axial line formula. I said that.
Electric dipole moment, charge into separation between them. Just like electric dipole moment, we have magnetic dipole. The formula for calculating magnetic dipole moment is NIA. It's magnetic dipole. Let's see what is N, what is I, what is A. N is the number of turns in coil. So if you have a coil, say it have 100 turns, then N is 100. I is current through each turn. A is area of coil. The direction of magnetic dipole moment is a vector. It have direction. Its direction is given by right hand thumb. Again, right hand thumb. See, how will you apply right hand thumb? Just take your right hand. It's very simple. Take your right hand, curl your finger along the current. This thumb will give the direction of magnetic moment. So the right hand thumb rule says curl finger of right hand along the current. Thumb will give the direction of magnetic moment. Thumb will give the direction of magnetic moment. Like this is, if this is the direction of current, like clockwise, just take your right hand and curl your finger clockwise. The thumb is going inwards, your magnetic moment will be inwards. Yes, no, they both are in same direction. See, in this case, can you tell me the direction of magnetic moment?
Outwards.
Everyone is getting outwards.
Yes, sir.
So you just take your right hand, curl your finger in the anti-clockwise sense, and thumb is going outwards. So direction of magnetic moment is outwards. Its SI unit is a vector. It's ampere meter square because current is ampere and area is meter square. Note it down. Then we will do two numericals on this concept. One formula based, another tricky.
Sir, M is magnetic dipole.
What?
M is magnetic dipole.
Moment, yes, magnetic dipole.
Yes, sir.
Okay. No, no, Abdullah, I need at least one or maybe two more lectures to finish this thing. Two lengthy topics are still left. One is torque on a current carrying coil, and another is dipole, ammeter, and galvanometer, ammeter, and we'll do two questions. One formula based that you will solve, another a tricky one that I will help. Say you have two coils, huh? One coil having radius of 1 meter, current of 2 ampere is passing through it, and the number of turns are 100. This is another coil. Current of 2 ampere is passing through it. Its radius is 1 meter and number of turns are 50. Oh, sorry. Let's draw some other shape now. This is the coil. See, this is formula based thing. It's a square shape. This is 2 meter. Current of 2 ampere is passing through it. Number of turns are 100. Calculate magnetic moments of both the coil. Write your answer with proper unit vector. Write your answer with proper unit vector I cap, J cap, K cap. Okay. I get one answer from Ahmed. Okay, Abdullah. Yes.
So the inverse direction is minus z cap or positive z cap? Inverse.
Minus K cap.
Yes,
Positive
sir.
Z is outwards. It's inwards minus K cap.
Oh,
So I got answers from Ahmed, from Abdullah, from Noor. And what about the rest? Mariam, Amalia, Nazira.
So for second one, we have to like, will that cancel out? Like they both are like the parallel ones are equal and
No.
opposite.
No. You're not calculating force. You're calculating dipole
Yeah.
moment. It's NIA. Take the area of this coil. That's it. Mariam, Amalia, and Nazir, are you solving it?
Yes.
Okay, I got answer from Nazira, Amalia. Mariam, I'm waiting for answer. See, for this coil, the first coil, you know, magnetic moment is simply NIA. N, you know, 100. I, you have 2 ampere, but you're supposed to calculate A, na, area. Area is pi r square. So it's pi into 1 square. So that's pi meter square is the area. Right? When you do all these substitutions, then N is 100. I is 2. A is pi. So you will have 200 pi ampere meter square. Fine. So magnetic moment is 200 pi ampere meter square. Now, direction. For direction, use right hand thumb rule. Nazira, what's the direction of magnetic moment here? Right, left, in, out, inwards, outwards. Apply right hand thumb rule and get the direction. Direction is very important. Yes, Nazira, what's the direction of magnetic moment here? See, take your right hand, curl it along the current. The thumb is going inwards. So your magnetic moment is inwards. So inwards, you will use 200 pi minus k cap ampere meter square. Inverse means minus of k cap. For this case, again, formula is NIA. We have N, we have I, but I need area. It's a square, right? Area of the square is side square. Side is 2 meter. 2 is square, it's 4 meter square. Now let's substitute the values. N is 100. I is 2 ampere. Area is 4. So it's 800 ampere meter square. If you need direction, then you take your right hand and curl it in the anti-clockwise sense. The thumb is going outwards. So your M will be 800. Outwards means K cap. Ampere meter square. Clear, Mariam?
Yes.
Okay, note it down.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, next. So that was about the current carrying coil as a magnetic dipole. Then we have a major derivation now, which is torque on a current carrying coil. If we can finish this derivation tomorrow, then on Thursday we'll complete magnetics. Thursday will be the last class of magnetics. If you could complete this derivation today. Torque on a current carrying coil in magnetic. So torque on a current carrying coil in magnetic field now. So you have a coil. Let's take some rectangular coil.
Sir, in magnetic field, at last.
Yes, yes, magnetic field. So this is your coil. This coil is placed in YZ plane, like perpendicular plane of paper. Not exactly perpendicular. This is placed in this way. First, understand how this coil is placed. Let's say if this is the coil, This is the coil. I can place this coil in two ways. I can either place it perpendicular to your code notebook, or I can just tilt it a bit. Like I can place it in this way, or I can place it in this way. So coil is bit tilted. It's bit tilted. Like it's not placed in this way, it's tilted a bit. So you can do this thing, like you can put your mobile phone over your notebook and tilt it in one direction or in the another. This is how I'm placing this coil. The placement is very important. Without placement, you cannot judge the direction of the force.
So can we know the angle of that tilt?
Sorry, Ahmed.
Like, is there any specific angle of that tilt?
Some angle theta. That angle theta would be a model parameter. Like for different values of theta, you will get different values of torque. And this is your magnetic field. 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 So magnetic field is acting along x-axis and your coil is perpendicular to your xy plane. So this is your magnetic field, magnetic field, magnetic field. In
Sir,
this
did you
magnet,
just
yes.
say did you just say the coil is perpendicular to X? Like YZ?
No, coil is somewhat tilted. Okay. The coil is tilted. It's not exactly perpendicular. Let me give me one second.
So the shape is rhombus.
No. Shape is rectangular, but since it is perpendicular, that's why I'm drawing it in this way. I'm showing you an animation for this thing also. So this is your magnetic field. This is in this way. See, this is my pen. And this is, let's say this mobile phone is my coil. If I place my coil in this way to the pen, then what's the angle between the coil and magnetic field? My pen is magnetic field and this mobile phone is the coil. What's the angle between them?
90 degree.
90 degree.
90 degree. But I am now placing it in this way. Is it perpendicular now?
No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So the coil that I'm trying to draw is in this way. The coil is not exactly perpendicular to magnetic field. This is inclined at some angle theta to the magnet. Clear, Ahmed?
Yes, sir.
It's a three-dimensional diagram. That's why it seems like rhombus. Now let's name this coil. This is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. This is the direction of current. Let's call this as B, breadth of the coil, and let's say this as L, length of the coil. So what is B here? B is uniform magnetic field. B is a uniform magnetic field. I is current through each turn. N number of turns. L length of coil. B is breadth of coil. And this angle theta, this is the angle between the plane of coil and the magnetic field. So if this is the magnetic field and this is coil placed in this way, then this is the angle theta. This angle is theta. Angle between the plane of coil and magnetic field, this is theta. Theta is angle between plane of coil and magnetic. So this derivation have two parts. In the first part, you're supposed to calculate force on each of the individual conductor A, B, B, C, C, D, and D. Now let's first calculate force on AB. That we write as FAB. For force, I'm using Lorentz force, like IL cross. I'm using this expression for the force, IL cross or ILB sine theta. FAB is, I can write this as I, length L cross B. See, the angle between magnetic field and this is theta. So you can write this as FAB ILB sine theta. To get the direction, apply right hand thumb rule. Take your finger, place it along the current. If the coil is placed in this way, this is the coil, this is the magnetic field. Okay, this is the system. Current is going in this way. So I place my finger along the current and curl it towards the magnetic field, which is horizontal. So my thumb is going upwards. See, again, this is the magnetic field and this is my coil. This is the direction of current. So I take my right hand, place my finger along the current and curl it horizontally. So my thumb is going upwards. So the force on section AB is upwards. So force here is upwards, it's FAB.
It's going downwards, right?
So can you
Huh?
explain that again?
See, just take your right hand, place your finger in the direction of current in this way. For this particular case, this is three-dimensional case. So take your mobile phone and take your pen. Place your pen in this way and mobile phone in this way. This is direction of pen and this is mobile phone. It's inclined to pen at some angle. This is how the current is flowing through mobile phone. This is, then it goes down, then it goes here, then it goes up, and the current is completing one circle. Take right hand, place it in this way. Place it in this way on your mobile phone.
So the current is anti-clockwise, right?
Right. And curl it towards the magnetic. Curl it horizontally. Magnetic field is along x-axis. This is how your finger should work. You place it in this way and then curl it horizontally. Where is the thumb you're going? Thumb pointing.
Upwards, sir.
Yes, Ahmed. Are you getting upwards now?
Yes, sir, but doesn't this magnetic field?
It's horizontal. It's along x-axis, Ahmed. It's along x-axis.
Sir,
Yes.
it is like outwards, right? Like thumb is going in the outwards direction.
No, no, no. The coil is not in the plane of your copy. The coil is coming out of the plane of your copy.
Oh, okay, that's why, sir. Okay.
So it's upwards means you can write this as FAB is ILB. Upwards means J cap. That's my first equation. Similarly, we can calculate force on this BC section. FBC is I, but the length of the BC section, sorry, it's not L. Sorry. The length of section AB is B. So I should write B here, not L. I should write B here, not L. It's B. It's B. FBC will be IL cross B. Okay, what's the angle between this current and magnetic field for section BC? This seems perpendicular, right?
Yes, sir.
So
But it
you can
not.
write. No, it is perpendicular. See, your
Why?
current is going downwards. It's along y-axis, right?
Yes, sir.
And your field is along x-axis horizontal.
Yes, sir. Sir, but did you not say that the phone is a bit tilted?
Yeah, phone is tilted. Like phone is placed in this way. Huh? So this is not along x-axis, Ahmed, right? But this section of your phone, even if it is, let's say, if I place this phone in this way, then this side is along x-axis and this is along y-axis. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
If I tilt this phone, is it along x-axis now?
No,
But what about this side?
it is along y-axis.
It's along y-axis. No? Even if it is tilted, then this side is along y-axis.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So are you getting it now? Why it's 90 degree?
yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes, Abdullah.
sir, the coil is in XZ plane or YZ plane?
Coil is in
Sir, you said you will show an animation. Like, is it possible now?
not now, because if I open that animation, then the class will get over. I want to complete at least the first thing. This coil is Abdullah in YZ plane. This is Y,
Yes.
and this is coming somewhat along Z axis. YZ.
Okay, sir.
So FBC is ILB sine 90. When you apply right hand thumb rule, take your finger, put it in the downwards direction, and then curl it horizontally. The thumb will come outwards. Outwards means K gap. So you can write this as FBC is ILB. This derivation is not going to complete today. I'm just calculating 20% of the derivation, just the force. The next class will continue with this derivation, and then I will explain it using that animation.
It will be minus J cap, right? Like downwards.
Abdullah, I'm calculating force, huh? Say for the
Okay.
direction of force, do this thing. Take your right hand, place your finger in the downwards direction because current is downwards, and then curl it towards the field which is horizontally along x-axis. You will see that your thumb is coming out of the plane of your body.
Yes,
Take your,
yes, sir,
take
got
your
it,
mobile
got
phone,
it.
current is going downwards. Do it, place it in this way and then curl it horizontally. You will see that your thumb is coming outwards. So it's a long K gap. Then CD. If I take this CD section, then the length of the CD section is B. Magnetic field is B. This angle is theta again. Then you will get that FCD is, it's IBB sine theta. And for the direction, you can again use right hand thumb rule. Now the current is going inwards, huh? So place your finger in the inverse direction and curl it towards the magnetic field. Thumb is going downwards. Place your fingers in the inverse direction and curl it in the horizontal direction. Thumb is going downwards. So this is FCD, which is downwards. This is FBC, which is outwards. And then DA section. Downwards means along negative Z y-axis. Then finally DA section. It's I, see, the length of DA is L. So it's IL cross B. What is the angle between L and B now? Current and B now for the DA section? This angle? 90 again.
90.
This will be ILB sine 90 degree. For direction, just place your finger in the upwards direction and curl it towards the magnetic field. Thumb will going inwards. Current is going upwards, so take your finger, place in the upwards direction, and your magnetic field is horizontal. Curl it in this way, the horizontal direction. Thumb will point in inwards direction. So that's safety. Inwards means minus of K gap. Now you can calculate net force. FAB, FBC, FCD, FDA. See how much is FAB? It's IBB sine theta J cap. What is FBC? ILB K cap. FCD IBB sine theta minus J cap. FDA minus ILB K का. See, they will cancel out each other. The net force is zero. So the net force on a current carrying coil in a uniform magnetic field is always zero. This result is absolutely independent of shape and size of the coil. So net force on a current carrying coil in uniform magnetic field is zero. This result is independent of shape and size of the coil. It doesn't matter whether the coil is rectangular, circular, square in shape. If that coil have current and the magnetic field is uniform, then net force will be zero. So this uniform magnetic field is important. If any one of you can remember, in electrostat, we did a topic which says torque on electric dipole in uniform electric field. And that topic also, the force was zero. So you take electric dipole, you take magnetic dipole, you will get the same result. Okay, note it down. It's not yet completed. We also have to calculate the torque, but note it down. At least note down the force. Yes, Ahmed, we will discuss it tomorrow. Not tomorrow, in the next class, Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Can you scroll down?
No, noon at the same. Yes, yes, yes. Thursday at the same time. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Can you scroll down? More stuff. Last.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So let's stop here. We'll continue in the next class. Huh?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Allah.
Hafiz. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. बस क्लास अभी खत्म हुई, नमाज पढ़ो।